welcome. We are thrilled to have you join us for today's webinar. The topic for today's session is Unlock Efficiency, how SuperOps and Dropsuite simplify MSP backup and billing. I'm Lakshmi from the product marketing team here at SuperOps. Today, we're going to dive into the challenges many MSPs face with backup and billing and demonstrate how this powerful combination of SuperOps and Dropsuite can significantly simplify these processes. Right. To start off, we have a pretty packed agenda for this session, and we'll start by understanding the current industry pain points and challenges that many of you are experiencing. Then we'll dive into the features and benefits of our platform. We'll also discuss the advantages of partnering with us. And of course, we'll wrap up with a live Q&A session where you can get all your questions answered. Please feel free to use the chat window to ask all your queries. I'll also be throwing in a few poll questions through the session, and it would be wonderful if everyone could participate. Right. We have the speakers for the session today. I'd like to introduce you guys to Anirudh, who's the product manager for all things RMM in SuperOps. Hi, Ani. And who spearheads building features that make endpoint monitoring a breeze. Aditya, hi, who's a key leader at Dropsuite, driving innovation in backup automation and PSA integrations for MSPs. I'll now hand over the floor to Aditya and Ani. Ani, I'll hand over the session to you. I'll stop my screen share for now.
Perfect, Lakshmi. So welcome, folks. Welcome to everyone on the call here. I just want to, quickly take guys through the actual setup that Lakshmi had talked about. So we'll start with the pain points and understanding the current needs of all of you folks in terms of backup monitoring and how and why that is important. And that's where, I want to invite my co-panelist here, Aditya from Dropsuite. It's been a great collaboration for both of us here between SuperOps and Dropsuite. It's been an exciting couple of months for us building up to the launch where both of the teams actually put together a lot of good collaboration to bring this to life. So welcome, Aditya, and best to hear from him on how he sees the backup is evolving. He's a veteran in the MSP space with a lot of background in backup and monitoring. And, I invite Aditya to pitch in.
Ani, if I may, sorry, I think folks are finding it a little difficult to hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the mic is, a couple of them have reached out and said that there is a mic issue.
Right, give me a second.
So while Ani, you figure out, welcome everyone. And it's indeed a pleasure being here and speaking about the integration and the benefits eventually. But to begin with, again, the current landscape that all the MSPs are going through, data is a key to a lot of the problem statements. Either it's backing up your endpoints, backing up your SaaS for your customer, Microsoft, Google, Salesforce, Xero, like there are multiple applications out there in the market that your customers are using. And losing data can cause major business disruptions. Sessions like products like Dropsuite, product like SuperOps, we help you with giving you managing your customers' data. Now, as you back up data, monitoring them is equally critical because if you lose part of your data, if your customer loses their backups, the onus falls on you eventually. So monitoring is critical. Monitoring is important to give you peace of mind and to let your customers have that peace of mind that things are running safely behind the scene. Eventually, it's like an insurance policy, right? That you buy a software, you buy a license, and then eventually it's getting backed up. You don't want to get to your backups unless there's a problem. But active monitoring just gives you that assurance that data behind the scene is safe. What are your thoughts, Ani, on this from RM standpoint?
From an RMM standpoint, it's the logical flow from the RMM into the backups, right? You have all your monitoring, all your asset data here, and from there you immediately move to securing. A lot of our customers or mutual customers who have been instrumental in helping us build this in the first place when we were doing our discoveries, right? They see this as an extended arm of the RMM getting into backup and how critical this particular function has evolved over the last couple of years, given the client focus on overall cybersecurity, especially in a lot of data critical verticals. A lot of our customers have started to focus and that need has indeed translated to us collaborating and building this. So it's been a pretty critical piece for us getting into 2025 with a lot of focus on cybersecurity, data backups, data protection, and so on. And all of this is the need of the hour, right? So
I guess it also makes the everyone efficient, right? Like if backups are being monitored without actually somebody having to go into a system and do something, it helps. Again, as MSPs, everyone wants to sell more. It's important, like spending time on looking at backups versus spending time going and doing customer acquisition. I guess the value lies on the other side.
totally right there, Aditya. It also translates to how proactive they are. Are they going to keep checking for the backup success every day? Did all my 300 assets back up yesterday? Did all my 300 workspaces and my workloads back up yesterday? What are the failures? Versus the new norm here, where that integration is actually proactively telling them that two assets failed the backup or two workspaces or workloads actually failed the backup yesterday. So it helps them stay on top of things, have a better visibility and control over this, and builds a lot of trust and reliability in that relationship also. So bang on when it comes to efficiency, and is adding a lot of man-hours back to the days of the technicians.
True. Right.
From there, maybe Aditya will move on to the next pain point that a lot of my customers have shared, and this was one of the starting points for us to start the collaboration with Dropsuite, right? And you have actually briefly touched upon a few challenges, but overall, looking at the landscape, right? There are these core modules like the PSA and the RMM, where the technicians and our MSPs actually live and breathe for, say, 60-70% of the time. And then you have all of these tools, your AVs, your backups, and all of those tools that sit on top of the PSAs and RMMs and add very critical value to the MSP's operations. So mission critical, as well as adding a lot of additional value. But then the screen time that these supplementary apps might have compared to a PC RMM is less, because this is where the core operations happens. So one pain point that comes up pretty often is, how do I bring in my maximum visibility from my backups into my PSA and RMM? And that is where I think that main challenge is they'll have a senior technician logging into Dropsuite every hour and checking for alerts or checking for backup failures and so on. So that is a huge challenge that we did have initially. But then, we wanted to throw out this question to you folks, and we have just opened a question, guys, on the webinar here. So what is your biggest challenge in managing backup operations today, right? And, is it you're tracking seat usage and billing accurately? The poll is open, and we have 4 options. Identifying backup failures quickly. This one's pretty tough, Aditya. as far as my customers complaining to me and the needs are there. Reducing time spent on manual backup checks or ensuring compliance and data security, which adds up to the overall picture here. So four options out there, folks. So whoever's joined the webinar, the question's up on your screen, and probably it would stay there for another 10 seconds. But meanwhile, Aditya, your thoughts on the common backup challenges that you have come across.
One of the key challenges that I keep hearing is platform fatigue. Like you have so many systems, so many softwares for different kinds of workloads that it leads to fatigue in terms of monitoring everything. You have to go through multiple platforms just to find what you're looking for. And most of these are like third-party solutions. Like we are backing up Microsoft and Google ecosystems. So now you need to understand there's some sort of backup, some sort of redundancy that Microsoft and Google gives you. But if you're using Dropsuite, you are now looking at your backups here. You're looking at RMM backups in one place. So that leads to a lot of operational fatigue that comes in. The second challenge that I get is false positives. A lot of times system would believe there's an issue. It will trigger an email notification or create a service ticket. But behind the scene in 10 minutes, the issue is actually resolved by itself. So it leads to some of these false positives, and some heartburns happen because, hey, 50 backups failed. But when you go in, everything is resolved by itself. So those lead to confusion and chaos in the ecosystem. And again, if they are coming from multiple sources at the same time, it just adds on to it. I also feel as data is growing, so are the scalability challenges along with it. Because your what we see on a Microsoft and Google side, your emails, OneDrives, the data on the other side keeps growing every day. Now, as that data gets backed up, sometimes a backup that would take 10 seconds usually might go up to 1 hour. And now you suddenly start feeling that, hey, is everything okay? Why are things not getting completed? So those kind of operational challenges are popping up more and more. And there is a need of the hour to build solutions around those, build monitoring systems which can effectively reduce those pressure points for the MSPs and for their end customers.
Totally nailed it up. Yeah. And you know that takes the conversation forward in terms of where we're looking at as the key features or the key pain points, right, for MSPs looking at an overall integration. And you brought a pretty key point around the tech stack overwhelm, right? Our customers today and a lot of the MSPs that we talk to, PSA, RMM, antivirus, cybersec, separate backup for assets, another backup for your Microsoft workloads, and then they have a reporting tool on top. So easily a tool sprawl of 6, 8, or 10 apps that they might have to juggle around, and therein increases the workload and the tool sprawl, so to say, right? And that brings us to a critical pain point or need is the email notification overload versus PSA, and that actually adds up to our key feature of the integration, which you will actually walk us through sometime later when you give the demo of the actual integration, which is how are we taking care of this overload. The integration should actually add more benefits and not increase the noise, so to say, right? It's very easy to just start, put up another integration and have 1,000 alerts or 500 alerts or 200 alerts thrown around per day. And suddenly all of this is unqualified alerts, noise, and which all of our MSPs or technicians tend to start ignoring over time if these alerts are not qualified and are not quality. So that noise factor, the authenticity of the alerts in terms of are they real alerts that they will have to action, or are they just 100 assets triggered by the same incident? All of this is pretty critical, and we've actually chosen that feature for our integration pretty succinctly there, to put it, Aditya. So
Very true, right? Every day, if you receive a lot of emails, there are business emails that you're receiving. There will, as you're connecting to multiple softwares out there, every system is trying to send you marketing notifications or service critical notifications. There's your client sending you an email. Amidst all the chaos, you start ignoring some of these non-critical emails. All of a sudden, the email notification that a system is sending you, even as a technician, you start ignoring those, or you start putting in filters because you want to focus on what is important. And that causes problems down the chain, because all of a sudden you have a customer coming to you and saying, hey, why is something failing? And like, oh, we missed a specific email. The building accountability through email notifications is very difficult. Plus, it becomes very reactive in nature. You can't take any proactive action. You can't be on top of it always. It becomes a very reactive aspect of how you look at things. So that's where PSA platforms come into play. Today, Dropsuite sends email notifications when there are backup issues. But we have seen it a lot of times where our MSPs come back to us saying, oh, something went wrong. I missed emails, and now how do I recover back from that? So we chose to integrate with SuperOps as well for that exact reason. It gives MSPs that single pane of glass across different kinds of asset types and different types of workloads that they have with that SuperOps supports. But also, if they're using Dropsuite at the same time, it gives them the same visibility, helps them build accountability from the ticketing system that exists in the PSA world. So these help in building that accountability, builds more efficiency. We automatically open tickets and close tickets so that at times you don't even have to take certain actions, but you're aware of the problems that are happening. You can, as you report to your customers, you can tell, hey, your backups are safe. There were some issues at times. Like, I can give you a very good example. Very recently, a few days back, some of the Microsoft services went down, and there was a flood of error notifications that we were sending out across the board. Now, that created so much chaos, but it automatically got resolved when Microsoft fixed its own issues on the other side. Now, in that case, from a PSA standpoint, you get a service ticket created because a backup failed, but then it will automatically get closed when the backup is successful, but you're aware of it. Within those emails, imagine you have a Microsoft tenant with 1,000 users in it, and all those 1,000 emails, drives, SharePoint, all the backups are failing, and all of a sudden your mailbox is flooded with just these notifications. So I do feel this email notification overload causes a lot of issues. I guess PSAs help in streamlining those workflows.
Totally, Aditya. And you actually led us right into our next question, right? In terms of how important is it having your backup solution integrated with your PSA and RMM? So, folks on the call, on the meeting, we just have a question out for you, folks. We'll keep that question open for a few more seconds for all of you to just respond. But this question, Aditya, 3 years before, when we had our first integration with another backup or AV, and I would say the responses that we are about to see now would be drastically different from what it was 3 or 4 years ago, right? The collaboration and the tighter, the nature of integration, the more tight it is, the better right now. Was not that sought after now, but then I think all of us, including our own MSPs, are starting to realize how important or critical this particular aspect is, where all the tools that we use right now talk to each other, pass on critical insights and data with each other, so that there is a single pane of glass for our technicians to work. So that's that. We're waiting to see some responses on that one, but then we'll shortly look into that response. But I think that actually leads us to the next part, which is your automation and MSP efficiency. And you touched upon a very critical aspect there around proactive operations, right? the more predictable and proactive as an MSP my operations are, the more efficient my technicians are and more time they have for better quality work. And that is actually a result of how much automation I can actually bring into my system. And therein lies the core PSA RMM automations, but also these two tools don't operate in isolation. It's supported by this ecosystem of other tools, as I keep saying, your AVs, your backups, and everything. So the automation has to spread to these integrations as well, and this brings about a lot of efficiency. Imagine setting up a quick scan daily once as a policy on Dropsuite or a backup from Dropsuite, and then that passing that status back into the RMM here. From here, you could look at that insight and then go back and do all of that. And imagine us moving into a world where we're trying to collaborate the actions between the RMM and the backup vendor, which is you here, Aditya, as Dropsuite. So the possibilities are endless, and this all of this translates to more time in the hands of our technicians and more productivity added to their day. So critical piece, core RMM, we talk about it day to day, but then it's exciting for us to start expanding that to our integrations as well in terms of what capabilities we could bring in.
Exactly. Like automation gives you so much time saving, right? One, you remove the chance of manual errors. Like you take the again, somebody built the automation, somebody went through that pain of understanding and giving a workflow. However, once you start building some of these automations, you don't have to go back and forth across 3 systems. What we discussed earlier, there are so many systems out there. You tend to, again, if you're not integrated with each other, you have to go to multiple places. Again, it's so much time taking. It takes out critical time from critical work. Versus you build integrations. Now, to your example earlier, think of a user that you have in your company. You start with asset monitoring on a daily basis, all the way down to their email backup monitoring. And now you know the health of each and every user in an organization, not just from their asset perspective, but from their SaaS perspective. If you build in further features around cybersecurity monitoring, these just round up your experience so much that you can give to your clients. Again, that's the value driver. Automations sometimes are tricky. Sometimes you can't predict how the human behavior would be. But the more you start playing with it, the more options you build in the ecosystem, the more efficiency you give to the customer on the other side. It helps you to cut through the noise that is there. Like again, visiting multiple places is never easy. So you can focus on what is important. You can build rules that can help you drive more efficiency. And I guess that's where systems like ours have to do more handshakes as things progress in the entire world. Like if systems don't talk to each other, it's the MSPs and their customers who suffer the burnt off.
Totally agree, Aditya. And I think the next topic, maybe the final topic we discussed before moving into our demos of SuperOps would be, how does this integration strengthen an MSP's security posture against the rising security threats, today's landscape especially, and what are the key benefits MSPs experience immediately upon enabling it, right? So just wanted to hear from you on how a lot of our MSPs using SuperOps will actually benefit from it and how the integration works both ways.
Sure. So in the current cybersecurity landscape, if you start breaking it down into different verticals, there is an aspect of asset security. There's the aspect of data security. There's the aspect of human security. Like when you go to a customer, you start telling them that, hey, I'll put RMM software in the for you for your asset protection. I'll have a human firewall kind of a software ecosystem built around your environment so that every action that your user takes, the security trainings and everything can be covered under it. And so does data security fall in the mix as well. We focus on the SaaS side of the data security. And as you go in now, reach out to your customers. You're not just selling, hey, do you want a Microsoft license? You're also saying, hey, with the license, do you want backups?
Yep.
You don't even have to name names at times to your customers. The value is around that data. So with this integration, a MSP using SuperOps today can now talk about, hey, we are providing you asset protection. We can also provide you with data protection. And this wholesome experience builds a better experience for your end customers.
Perfect, Aditya. And just out of curiosity, I believe that this also opens up a new revenue stream for a lot of our MSPs, right?
It does.
Your antivirus and your asset backups is one thing, but then your SaaS backups, especially your Microsoft and Google Workspace backups, right? So we have seen a few of our early adopters, the ones who have been our testimonial clients, tell us how this integration has actually helped them increase the revenue by a few percentage points in the very first month, because their clients just jumped upon this new service offering that they did after looking at it in the marketplace. So just wanted to hear from you on how the overall MSP revenue scene actually improves with this new option that they can offer as a service.
It does, right? Historically, most of the MSPs that we have used us for SaaS backup, but they were using multiple other products out there from our asset protection perspective or for the other parts. Now, there were MSPs who were using a different PSA platform, a different RMM platform, and Dropsuite from SaaS backup. Now, this gave some of those that opportunity to consolidate it together in one place. Now, it becomes more effective from cost effective for them. It helps improve their business processes and efficiencies. Again, to the point earlier, you don't have to go to multiple places. So adds on, sometimes it's not just about adding more revenue, right? Sometimes that efficiency gain that you get with these kind of integrations helps your own bottom line. So, and those are some testimonials that we have also heard from different MSPs on our side.
Perfect. That's a great small chat on a lot of the key points around the collaboration, integration, and in general the overall backup scene out there for our MSPs who've joined the call here. That was a great chat, Aditya. I really love that. And now some tidbits about our own product and your product and the integration that we've done together. So I'll maybe wait on for Lakshmi to pitch in here.
I guess. Okay. Ani, so you'll be taking us through the screens and I'll just give a brief overview.
Sure.
Okay. Right. So coming back to the previous screen, thank you, Aditya and Ani. Firstly, I know we've covered quite a few pain points in this chat already. We've seen some great discussions. Just to interject, we have a live chat going on, guys, and we are also actively monitoring it. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop in your questions. We have a Q&A at the end of it, and we will be answering your questions. Right. But before we get into the integration, before Ani takes over the platform overview, I want to start off with a quick intro to SuperOps. Just to give a little bit of context to folks who are new here in terms of who we are, what we do, and what we want to achieve. To start off, let's look at the MSP software landscape as a whole. A majority of it is still stuck in the past. A lack of innovation over the years has meant there's a lot of pain that the MSPs have to deal with. Slow and clunky software, legacy tools, dated interfaces that still require a lot of manual effort and that break frequently. Ani, if we could move to the next slide. And that's what SuperOps is aiming to change, to help MSPs break away from the current landscape by replacing their tools and all their pain points with a powerful, modern, AI-driven, unified platform. In a nutshell, SuperOps is a unified PSA RMM platform that's thoughtfully designed to make the modern MSP's day. It has all the major tools you need, from ticketing to project management to invoicing to IT documentation, as you can see on the screen, from chat and scheduling to network monitoring on a single pane of glass, a truly unified platform so that you can drive your everyday operations from one place. We're also future ready with AI and automation woven into the fabric of our platform through features like intelligent alerting, AI summarization, automated alerts, runbooks, and so much more. And now we jump back to you, Ani, to take over the SuperOps platform overview.
Perfect, guys. So just wanted to switch tabs, move to the demo, and it's actually a fully loaded platform here, folks. So as you can see, it's a unified PSA RMM, and when we say PSA, a lot of modules. This is a platform where we have a lot of products in itself built into it. So when we say PSA, looking at your tickets, your tasks, your projects, your client management, your contracts, your invoices, your quotes, your sales inbox. Then this is just the PSA, right? On the RMM, you have your asset monitoring, your patching, your alerting, your scripting engine. We've launched the network monitoring module last year, and we've seen raving reviews and a lot of adoption from our customers for network monitoring as well. And then a very flexible and customer-friendly reporting that's sitting on top of both of these PSA and RMM modules. And of course, the unified vision wouldn't be complete without IT documentation, right? The PSA, RMM, IT doc, and the reporting sitting on top truly brings all of this to life. So quickly, I just wanted to, maybe walk you through a high level of the PSA and the RMM for folks who are new to SuperOps. I do see a lot of familiar faces, guys, so it might just be a brush up from a product manager for you folks, but then there are quite a few new folks who have joined the webinar as well. So on the PSA side, I'm just showing you a sample client screen here. So on the client screen, as you can see, you have your quotes and invoices. Your whole life cycle starts right from here. You could have clients who are from a very prospective stage as well. You can have the stages called up. Are they prospect? Are they an inactive? Are they an active client? Are they paying or are they unpaid? So it starts right from there, from where you can actually start triggering quotes. From quotes, you then convert them to a customer. You start working on the contract, and then you onboard them on the contract. So the contract modules are recently launched. We're getting a lot of great feedback for the newly launched contract 2.0, where you're looking at your service contracts, your service catalog items. What are the offerings that you have? The different configurations you can do based on the type of billing, based on the type of billing model you have, all of that brought in along with all the service items that you can bring in. This almost all of the modules, guys, that I'm maybe going to talk about is worth a webinar in itself. So I'm just going to try to capture the high level essence of the unified platform here. So I might be rushing through this. Forgive me for that, but then I'm sure we'll follow it up with a lot more content and information in the website and in product for you guys to explore each of these modules in detail. So back to the client, you have the contracts module, your quotes and invoices. You have all the ticketing modules right here, your requesters, the different sites, how many requesters you have, what are all their different assets, your tickets, and that this one screen actually encapsulates the entire vision we have. We have the clients, the requesters, their documents, the contract, the quotes, tickets, the assets, all the entities that you can think of an MSP right here in one screen for your core operations. And that's the power of unified. And as Aditya rightly put it, right, single pane of glass kind of an experience. There was this hypothesis that you can't have the best of all the worlds in a single plane, but then SuperOps' vision is to bring that to life, and that's what we've been doing over the last 3 years. folks. So that was a flavor of a high level of the client here. Quickly moving to the next item around, your ticketing, right? And here it's one of the most widely used platforms or modules within our platform. You have the create ticketing module. This is actually my favorite and a lot of our customers' favorite, the Kanban view for tickets, where you could just look at the statuses, the tickets as per the status or as per the technicians, and say, for example, one of your technicians is on leave today, right? And you could just move that ticket from that technician to the next, and you could just reassign that. And this is just one view. You have the list view, which is the regular, and also the classic view for our old school MSPs who just love about it. And on top, you have our Monica, which is our AI avatar, sitting on top just to summarize the tickets, compose the vendor email, similar tickets. All of these are full-fledged AI features in itself. We don't just innovate for the sake of innovating. Our AI use cases are very thoughtfully selected to add value, so we just don't squeeze in AI for the kicks of it. And if you see all the AI features that we have so far, for example, the recommended solution actually picks out from the history of all the similar tickets and then recommends the solution that you at your account, you and your other technicians have actually done in the past, and it actually saves time. So fully capable AI avatar doing multiple use cases, adding value wherever possible. So that was all the ticketing. And if you look at a ticket right here, from here, I can actually quickly move to the assets as well. Taking me to the overall assets module, right? And this is actually the unified flavor coming to life. You had a ticket, you have a requester, and you have an asset that's tagged to that ticket, and immediately you jump to the ticket right from that same piece of software, where you look at all the usual asset suspects here, your performance metrics, getting into the details of any of the aspect of the asset you want to. So everything in monitoring, you name it, we have it. File Explorer, Reg Editor, your softwares, your processes, your services, all of them ably controlled by policies, which is the proactive automation, right? You can take care of your patch management, your software management, your antivirus, and your backup integrations, and fully supported by a lot of troubleshooting applications and features. We have the terminal, we have the run script, a remote tool as well. We have natively integrated with Splashtop and ISL, which we provide along with the license you purchase, and then a total chat, one-way chat from your end into the asset to actually keep on top of things, guys. So that was a quick run of the asset. Just quickly want to brush upon the reporting section. So we have a fully built reporting module as well, sitting ably on top of the PSA and RMM. So we have a lot of default alerts. You could pull these out as CSVs, or you could pull these as PDFs from the default canned reports that we have already published for a client for a particular date. Easily customizable, flexible in terms of the output. You want to show this to your clients at the MBR or at the QBR, you can pull out the PDF reports. You want to start analyzing operationally, you can pull out the CSVs. So a lot of capability in the reporting module, and of course, ably supported by the IT documentation, which actually completes the entire spectrum of the core monitoring, right? You could have your passwords, you could have your KB, you could have all of your SOPs and training documents for all our technicians right in one place. So all of that, and I wish I had more time to get through, but then in the interest of time and a lot of questions pouring in, I'll quickly pass the mic on to Aditya to take us through his side of the integration, and especially around Dropsuite. So Aditya, over to you.
Aditya, if you could give me 1 second, I'll just
Sure.
throw in another poll.
Totally.
So because Ani just took us through the SuperOps overview, that was only right that we did this. We'll keep it on screen for a few seconds, guys. Maybe another 10-15 seconds, and then Aditya, you can take over.
Sure.
Another 5 seconds, and then I'll close the poll. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thanks, Aditya.
Let me share my screen. Let's go. All right. So I'll just give you a brief walkthrough on what is who's Dropsuite. So we provide backup solutions for cloud, like for Microsoft 365 and Google Workspaces. We have more than 4,300 plus transacting MSPs on our platform with over 1.5 million paid users being backed up in our ecosystem. We have direct partnerships with more than 660 plus MSPs out there. We are very much partner built. We understand the needs of the distributors and the MSP ecosystem. We believe in increasing their revenue potentials. Our clientele is usually SME and mid enterprise because that's the market where we feel there's a lot of gap and where we can help in building more awareness in the data security space. So we have been working with this in that space for a while now. We build consistent support and building relationship with both sides. Our support is something that we really take pride in. We build the feedback that we get from our MSPs is we are overly supportive at times. We help them be more efficient. Like we have examples where like our MSPs would reach out to our support to help them in doing certain actions, and we do it as soon as possible. So our average response time is less than an hour from the time a ticket comes in, and we have a global support network for this. Why do MSPs choose us? Again, ease of doing business. We have been consistent champions in software reviews. We provide unlimited storage to for backups. Platform has been super stable. As I said, it has exceptional support service, and we are one of the few who offer both normal backup plus archiver-based backup solution as well. So it gives choice for the MSPs to give to their customers. As I said, we have been industry leader for a while now. I guess software reviews for the last 5 years, we have been going back to back. So do join us. We'll share the link later, these slides later on. You can scan the QR code and get a free NFR license to try out Dropsuite for 60 days as well. You can join our partner program and help us build a better Dropsuite for you and for your customers. Okay, with that, I'll just take you through the Dropsuite platform quickly for a few minutes. So this is what we call as the partner portal experience on Dropsuite. This is where MSPs would come in and they would manage their customer subscriptions. So this is our dashboard view, which helps you see how much are your customers protected, gives you a quick insight on that, talks about the seat usage patterns, like what's purchased versus how much is used. This is the place where you can add a new subscription for your customers. So on this screen, it allows you to look at the existing subscriptions, add a new subscription, manage plans. We follow a seat-based mechanism. So you need to purchase seat licenses to add to backup. So this allows MSPs to increase seat or change plans from this portal itself. So it helps very much with your day-to-day operations from one place. We also support an auto licensing model. So you can just turn on auto license, and as users get added to the Microsoft or Google tenants, they automatically start getting backed up and a new license gets added for them. This view also allows the MSPs to go into a customer's backup account and manage their backups. So I'll just take an example of this account where once you go through this link, you're now actually going into what we call as the end user portal. This is a portal, this is an account for your end customer. So this page allows you to add backups where you can configure a Microsoft 365 or a GWS tenant or a hosted exchange tenant, manage which users you want to back up within that tenant as well, which SharePoint sites you want to back up. This gives you that option. You can also turn on auto discover. This will automatically look for new users added in that tenant and automatically start adding them to backup if seats are available, or if auto license is on, then without even the need of checking seats, it will keep adding users to backup. So this allows, like, we also have a very in-depth search experience. It has almost 20 odd criteria around which you can search in the backup data of a user's email. You can search through OneDrive, you can search through SharePoints. With some of our subscriptions, you can even search on email attachments. So it's one of the powerful tools that we have for our customers. This integration sits under this integration bucket at the bottom. We have support for 4 PSAs today on the Dropsuite platform. Configuration is pretty straightforward. You will see a connect button by default on every integration. Once you click on connect, it will ask you for 3 pieces of information: the site URL, the API token, and the subdomain. This information, to what Lakshmi and Ani were mentioning earlier, this is available in the marketplace on SuperOps. So if you see in the marketplace, you'll see Dropsuite over there. Once you click integrate, you'll see these 3 pieces of information here. You just need to copy this information and put it on the screen. So once you configure and set up the integration, it will also allow you to set up some fields for your service tickets. So basically you can map what happens when Dropsuite creates a service ticket. So when a new service ticket gets created from our side, what status should it be on SuperOps? When we close a ticket automatically, what status should it go to? Whether it's resolved, whether it should go to closed, or whether you want to keep it on hold for somebody to manually review it. What is the ticket type that you want Dropsuite to create? Is it a service request or an incident ticket? And what's the source? Like whether it's an integration or an agent-based ticket. So you can define how you want to categorize these service tickets that we create on SuperOps. Then once you go into the organization mapping screen, you'll see all the subscriptions that you have, and you are free to choose which subscriptions you want to map to which client on SuperOps. So you may have more organized, like you may choose to not map some of the Dropsuite organizations with the SuperOps clients because you don't want, because that might be managed differently. So this screen allows you to pick which client you want to map with which Dropsuite organization. And once you select and you save, now moving forward, every backup error that happens will create a service ticket on SuperOps. Since I can't trigger a manual backup error in this case, I'll just show an example of a service ticket that gets created. So this is a service ticket that goes from the Dropsuite system, from Dropsuite to SuperOps. It will have a customer attached to it. It will give you the details around which organization on Dropsuite and which user account had a backup error and what was the error. Now, once we resolve if the error gets resolved on our side, the status will automatically change from open to closed based on the mapping that you did in the previous screen. Or else you also have the option to come in and change the status by yourself. So again, it's a pretty straightforward integration, but as I said, now what Ani was showing the ticket screen in the earlier, if you think about the Kanban board, you have all the tickets shown in one place. And this helps you in active monitoring of these tickets. All right. That's about Dropsuite and the integration. So I guess now we are open for questions.
So I think before we, folks, all your questions, I can see a few questions coming in. Aditya, if you can see the questions, if there's anything that you can answer, we have somebody from our end answering. Ani, if there's anything specific that you'd like to answer. So while we are on that, I'll also throw in another poll. Yep, folks.
Because there was one question around if if you already have Dropsuite, can you use the integration? I guess yes, you can. As I was just sharing, if you're using Dropsuite already, all you have to do is go into the integration screen, choose SuperOps, put in the details that you can find on the SuperOps marketplace screen, and you're ready to roll. So this integration is already live. I guess there was one question around when is this integration available. So this is already live. It is ready for you to use. We do have NFR licenses. I guess there's a question around free trial apart from NFRs. So we have NFRs. We don't have free trials per se, but you can use your NFR accounts, NFR subscriptions, and use that to try out this integration as well. The org mapping screen allows you to map both NFR and paid plans.
Okay.
And
Okay.
they could actually do that from the QR you will be sharing as part of the deck, right, Aditya?
Correct.
Okay.
I guess there's a question from Adam at the end. Can you pick and choose what alerts open a ticket? So at this stage, every backup error opens up a ticket. We are actively working towards building more enhancements where we give the choice to choose when do you want to create tickets and what events should trigger service tickets. So at this stage, anytime there's a backup error, doesn't matter what workload has the error, it will create a service ticket. Again, the reason we did that for now is to give full visibility to the MSPs when a backup fails.
Folks, we have a couple of more minutes if anybody has any questions. I'll give it another maybe a few seconds. I believe, Aditya, there was one more poll question that Katie had sent. While we're waiting for more questions,
Sure.
I'll drop
Let's
in.
throw it out.
Yeah. Folks, we have another poll question.
Okay. I guess I missed one question earlier. There was a question around, can you pick and choose which user accounts are set up with Dropsuite in SuperOps? And Ani, if I'm not mistaken, you can't choose that on SuperOps. From a SuperOps perspective, the list remains as is. It's on the Dropsuite platform where you get the option to decide which Dropsuite organizations you want to map with which SuperOps client. And over there, you can, as I said, choose to not map certain clients in certain organizations.
You're right, Aditya.
Right. And is there anything else that you'd like to address? Do we have any more questions? Folks, any more questions? I'll give it a couple of more seconds then.
Lakshmi, this has been a great conversation, not a pure formal webinar, but then a great conversation between Aditya and myself. And we hope the attendees got some insights on why this collaboration is actually required at this time and how an RMM and backup such as Dropsuite can actually do a lot of code for our mutual customers. So it's been a pleasure. I think there is one question that we might have to address around pricing, but guys, you could just get in touch with your account managers or start your trials or your NFRs, so to say, and maybe the pricing is a conversation that you can have at that stage, because it really depends on which partner channel that you're going to come through. So we might have to defer that for a later conversation, direct conversation, where you'll get a lot more insights into the pricing, the different options you will have on related to purchasing. So yeah.
I guess that will also be an opportunity to see the platforms more in detail when you get in touch with the respective account managers. So yeah, do feel free to reach out to your account managers and have that conversation.
Right.
Okay.
Folks, so with that, we've reached the end of our session. I'd like to extend a sincere thank you to each and every one of you for joining us today. We'll be sending out a follow-up email shortly with the recording of the webinar. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at our support email, support@superops.com, and I believe Aditya.
Support@dropsuite.com. Correct.
Thank you again for your participation. Thank you, Ani. Thank you, Aditya. We look forward to seeing all of you at our future webinars. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.